Thanks for staying with us. Pastor Celia Collins is the founder and the Chief Executive Officer of the Relevance Foundation, an apostolic organization offering leadership, vision development consultancy, motivational and mentoring programs together with training for effective leadership. She's a dynamic, woman. She's got the strength and the ability to build leaders, to train leaders. She was voted as one of the top 100 women entrepreneur by the Real Business magazine in 2008. Pastor Celia is a member of the Council of Churches in Communities, CIC, an international apostolic oversight and accountability network based in the United Kingdom. She is as well a patron of the African and Caribbean Evangelical Alliance. Backstage, Mr. Yemi Akinsiwaju said she is a woman of timber and caliber. I won't tell you the third one. I'm with Pastor Celia. It's such an honor to have her on the show tonight. I'll get her to say hi to you shortly. And with Pastor Celia tonight, we've got the brain behind Global Leadership Summit, Yemi Akinsiwaju. He's the founder and the CEO of Dayspring Consulting. He's a dynamic leadership expert, and an author of highly acclaimed book, Scorecard, Achieving Success and Balance in Turbulent World. He's a management consultant who has helped a wide range of organizations, ranging from small business enterprises to multi-million pounds institutions in the public sector and the charitable sector to rapidly improve their results and accelerate their success. Tonight, I've got these two wonderful, highly profiled people in the house. They are both filled with passion for leadership. Good evening, Ma. Good evening, sir. An honor to have you again on Questions in the Heart. Pastor Celia, you want to say hi to people?
Hi, and it's a privilege to be here to serve you and to talk about pertinent, relevant things that transform our lives, like leadership.
An honor having you. And, well, I don't know what to call you, Pastor, Mr. Honorable.
Honorable will do it.
Honorable will do it. Thank you, ma. Honorable Yemi Akinsiwaju, good evening.
A lovely evening to you. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Like Pastor said, it is a tremendous privilege to be able to spend some time.
I couldn't really give your profile in details,
But that's all right. Well, essentially, like you rightly mentioned, my passion is leadership development.
I can say, for you to have 3 world-class experts come and train and equip people in the United Kingdom on leadership, then you must have a serious passion for leadership. Absolutely. You want to tell me what informs your passion for leadership? Well,
essentially, I think when you look at the landscape of our communities and societies and the situations we're facing today, you'll come to a very, very clear conclusion that there is a serious challenge with leadership. One of the great leadership experts called John Maxwell once made the point that everything rises and falls on leadership. So when you find out that we have challenges in our homes, you can trace it back to a problem with leadership. Perhaps with a father or with a mother. When you look at challenges in our governments, again, you can trace it back to dysfunctional leadership. So basically, wherever you go, when you track back, to identify what is at the core of many of the problems that we face, it all boils down at some point, you can pinpoint dysfunctional leadership as the source. And so over the years, I've sort of personally experienced the impact of dysfunctional leadership. And I know many of your listeners have experienced the same. Well, and like many of the partners, in the Global Leadership Summit, we decided we needed to do something about this to contribute in some measure towards resolving this challenge with dysfunctional leadership. And that's basically what brought us to the Global Leadership Summit. I mean, I remember having an experience when I was in the university many years ago now. And in those days, the university I was in back in Nigeria was known for its radicalism. And we went on the streets one day to protest, as usual, the poor leadership that we were experiencing by our military government at the time. And unfortunately, what then happened was the military government sent in the police officers and the military, and they were shooting guns at students.
Seriously.
Live bullets at students.
Seriously.
And of course, we had to run for our lives. And pretty much that was where my interest in real, authentic leadership began.
Wow.
Because as I ran into the vehicle to try and escape and get away from this situation, something that kept resonating in my spirit: why is it that those who we call to lead us,
who are meant to protect us,
who are meant to protect us, are the ones who are now shooting at us, wanting to kill us? And so really, from that point in time, I began to explore aspects about leadership, what makes for effective leaders, and as I learned more and more about it, I began to inculcate some of those ideas in my own personal life and in the work that I do in consulting and working with different organizations. And so for me, it's been a journey, on leadership development, and also being able to share those ideas with other people.
With other people. Wow. That's a wonderful one. And Pastor Celia, you have been in leadership training for years. The last time you came on the show, I had 3-4 people called to say, she is my mentor. She is my mentor. And those are people you look up to and say, oh, they are highly placed. So I thought, wow, she's a mentor of mentors. She's been around for so long. You want to tell us why you think leadership is relevant at this time? Why do you think we should pay a bit of attention on this issue of leadership?
Thank you so much. I concur with what Honorable has said. I mean, you have to pay me after that. I concur with what Yemi said. I think that we cannot defy God's laws, His infrastructure, His principles, and still be successful as a community. The very first thing God did was put leadership in man. We're designed to be competent, able leaders, like God. And as soon as that goes wrong, we call it dysfunctionality. As soon as that goes wrong, everything else goes wrong. You'll notice throughout the Bible that every time there was a crisis, there was chaos, there was uncertainty, and God needed people to move and to improve the quality of life for them. He raised what we call leaders. And so for me, leadership is a passion also because I have an experience. At my first church plant as a young, budding minister who was pulled out of Bible school to church plant, I had a vision. No, I didn't have a vision. I had a sense of mission in that, go ye into the world. That's all I knew. I could pray, I could preach somewhat, and I was successful at that. But I didn't know how to lead, because nobody told me about leadership. I cried my eyes out. One day I woke up in the morning, I said, I'm not going to cry anymore. There has to be a solution. I went into a bookshop. The answer was that I bought every book on leadership I could find. And suddenly my passion for leadership was birthed. You'll find that when God calls you to something, He walks you through it. So that it's a conviction. As Dr. Miles Monroe says, leadership is inspiration that is generated by a passion, that is motivated by a conviction, which is produced by a sense of purpose. So God walks you through something, you are convicted, and it's important because something genuine and authentic is birthed inside of you that will stop at nothing until you see other leaders being birthed. For me, I find that without leading and mentoring people, we're not taking care of the future. What we have is the same that we'll ever have. And so I'm motivated to raise leaders, mentor people to become the best leaders they can be so that they can do the same.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Honorable Yemi Akinsiwaju, you've got to pay Pastor Celia for this honorary award. Give it to you on the show tonight. What are the most important leadership issues or challenges you see leaders over the next 10 years facing?
Right. Well, that's a very, very powerful question. Like I said earlier, we certainly have some major challenges in our world today. I think the most critical element really will be the return to what I call authentic leadership that is founded on real integrity.
Wow.
Over the last few years, there are many people who have cultivated a perspective on leadership that is based on the ability to manipulate others. It is based on using techniques.
Celia mentioned that last week.
It's based on using techniques and ideas of communication and stuff like that, which are externalities, as it were, rather than authentic leadership that is born of a sense of purpose. And I think certainly over the next 10 years, there's a clarion call to return to that sense of authentic leadership that is based on a personal purpose. You know, a discovery, I always say that, you know, true leadership is born when you discover your own purpose. When you discover that purpose and you begin to pursue it actively, then your real leadership is born.
All right.
You see, and so over the next 10 years, there will be a drive for many, many people to rediscover their own sense of purpose. What is it they were actually born to do? You see, in the last, say, 10 years, there has been a crisis, for instance, economically, which as a result of that, there are many people who are losing jobs left, right, and center. The challenge is many people today are still being taught that they need to go and find another job. The problem is those jobs are simply being eradicated completely. They're not going to come back. Therefore, if you're going to thrive, certainly economically, you need to rediscover what were you actually born to do. Because when you walk into the fullness of what you were born to do, you would never be unemployed. Okay? You don't need employment when you've discovered your purpose. Because you enter into personal deployment. You begin to release the gifts of who you really are. And when you begin to manifest who you really are as a person, guaranteed the world out there will come looking for you. You wouldn't need employment. All you will need is deployment. And so over the next 10 years, there will be that drive for people now to begin to rediscover who they really are. Okay? And as they begin to live out of that sense of purpose, integrity will become part of that. Because it will no longer be about trying to manipulate other people, trying to, what we call lead other people. I mean, one of my favorite passages in the scripture is in Proverbs 16, where it says that a man who rules his own spirit is better than he who takes a city. You know, over the last few years, the drive has been to try and take cities, in quotes. So it might be taking cities spiritually, taking cities economically, taking cities in different spheres of influence. But then there's a lack of internal or self-mastery. And that is what real leadership is about. And so over the next 10 years, there will be that drive. Because people really are fed up with the externalities that they see out there because they don't work. They're very, very superficial. And they don't generate sustainable results in their lives. And so people are returning to the authentic principles of real leadership. And those are found really in the scriptures. You know, as Pastor Celia was saying earlier, when you look through the scriptures, in fact, the very first command that God gave mankind is let them have dominion. Dominion is about leadership, authentic leadership, governing from the place of the words that God has deposited within you, the gift that God has deposited within you. That is your words that you carry that enables you to manifest your leadership greatness. You see, and over the next 10 years, each and every one of us must go back to discovering who we really are, okay, and then live out of that sense of purpose. To influence our communities, influence our families, influence our churches, you know, influence our economies, influence our nations. There must be that drive, and there will be that drive back to authentic leadership.
Interesting. Pastor Celia, you are considered as one of the most inspirational women of the time. And if I might bring something out of what Honorable Yemi just mentioned, there is something that looks like personal leadership. Can one be a leader without being, can you lead others without having this sense of personal leadership? If you get what I mean. Is there anything like personal leadership?
Yes, there is.
Self-leadership, let me put it that way.
Personal leadership. You can't give what you don't have. You can't, nobody can give what they don't have. Because
what we have these days is we've got so many people around who just want to lead others and they are not paying attention to self-leadership.
So because you lead, leadership is a state of being rather than doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am, when Moses asked God, who shall I say is leading him? He says, I am. It's the nature, it's my consistency, it's what I'm made of. I cannot give you what I don't have.
So leadership begins with the leader.
So leadership begins with my sense of being, my values, my moral health. He was saying about, I was going to add to what you said, about for me, one of the critical things in the next 10 years is moral health. the moral health of our society. Moral health impacts physical health. Moral health impacts financial health. Moral health and values impacts relational health. So when we have a sick society where leaders do not have integrity, they do not have ethics, they do not have moral or sound values, we're in trouble. Absolutely. And so every leader starts from themselves. If I cannot disciple and discipline myself, I am not qualified. It shows that I lack the competency to be able, and the right to be able to do it to others.
Yep, indeed.
And so it's important. So there is, yes, personal leadership. If personal leadership, what you believe in forms part of your personal leadership. The way you live, your own principles, the quality of your life, all forms part of your personal leadership. Paul made a statement in 1 Corinthians chapter 9. He said something that we leaders today don't pay attention to. He says, I'm afraid of one thing, that after I have tried to lead others, I myself will be disqualified. You understand? In other words, in every true, I can only talk about Christian leadership because we're supposed to be the model for secular leadership, by the way.
Well, I was going to say, but you're not just dealing with spiritual leaders.
No,
You're into the business world as
but
well.
Christian leadership is what I'm talking about. And leadership has very little to do with status or position. It's been. Yeah. It's been. You know, leaders out there are not fussed if you're Christian or not. If you can solve problems,
you're a leader.
You're a leader. They buy into you. They don't really care. Joseph, have you been in prison? Nobody cares. You have answers for us? Yes. Absolutely. Then you're the man of the moment. Exactly. And so it's important that he says, otherwise I will be disqualified. In other words, I must pay attention. Paul talks to Timothy. He says, pay heed to yourself first and then the flock. Because true leadership is not about status or position. It's about impact. Impacting lives of others. And every true leader starts with modeling leadership.
Absolutely.
And so if I'm a failure in certain bits, it doesn't create followership. Another thing a leader must watch out for is credibility.
So why do you think we have so much moral dysfunction at the, where it matters in leadership, at the
because many of us were not processed.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see, leadership starts at the altar. Yeah. This is a Christian program, so we can talk about leadership truly starts at the altar. If you look at biblical patterns that we have, God breaks a man first, molds a man. Because every Christian leader, whether you're in the office or you're in church, I'm talking to you, you represent and represent Christ. So it's important that God makes you. God makes the man before he makes the ministry.
Indeed.
So you have people like Moses, processed for 80 years. Then they start the mission. And the job. Today, people take on a title.
Before even
then they're called leaders.
Yeah.
If I could just even to talk about, everybody must ask themselves, what do I have to give? It's not about speaking. It's not just about executing something. It's every leader gives themselves as a gift to humanity. If that gift is faulty, you're poisoning the rest of us.
Yeah, that's true.
So take heed to yourself, I think is what I want to say. Personally,
I mean, something else I would add to what Pastor Celia just said. The ultimate leader, Jesus himself said this. He said, if the blind lead the blind, both of them will fall into a ditch. Which in effect means that it is possible to be dysfunctional and still try and lead others, which is the challenge that we have with many of our so-called leaders today. And therefore, Jesus himself said, look, first, cast out that which is making you blind out of your own eye before you start worrying about casting out that which is in someone else's eye. Okay? So there is a need for our leaders to continually self-examine, which brings us back to the point I made about authentic leadership. Okay? There's always a self-examination. The Bible says in the book of James that there are many of us who will go out, will look at the world as a mirror, and very quickly we forget what it is we have seen. Okay? But God wants us always to continually self-examine. Because, like Pastor Celia said, there is a personal growth process that we each must go through. You know, I always say that, you know, 3 elements to effective leadership is 1, discovering purpose, which you mentioned earlier, walking through a process of nurturing growth and refinement before you wield power effectively.
Can I just add something? Just in case somebody's listening and thinking, oh, my leader ain't all that. Leadership is developed daily, not in a day. So we're all learning. We're talking about leadership, but we're all not there yet. Nobody is there yet. And so we're learning. The thing is that there has to be continuous improvement, continuous adjustment as you self-evaluate. And then you change your attitudes, you change the way that you live, you change your value system. And if the only problem is when that change process is absent from your life, then you're disqualified. But as long as we all understand that we're all imperfect people, being perfected every day, that's why leaders are learners. It's just not that we're just learning book. We're being transformed by what we learn.
So leaders learn on the job.
We learn on the job. God makes us on the job. But there has to be a point where you make a choice saying, this is the way I'm going to go. This is how I'm going to live my life. That's where it starts. You make that conscious commitment to yourself. I will not live this way.
You don't gamble at leading people.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You cannot gamble with people's lives. You cannot gamble with people's
Interesting.
lives.
Before we go on break, and before I get Honorable Akinsiwaju to talk about the event coming on, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing any leader today?
Well, that's
a serious one.
Well, the biggest challenge is, you know, leadership is very situational and very circumstantial. In other words, the challenge I face may not be the challenge you face, so a leader, but I go back to moral health. When I say moral health, we have a society that has lost its moral compass. Today we don't have absolutes in rights and wrongs anymore. When you do that, where do you lead? Because the Bible says where there is no vision,
people perish.
People cast off restraint. Everybody does their own thing. I think this is our greatest challenge as a leader.
Their own laws.
You live with a bunch of teenagers, they'll soon show you who's boss. They want to do their own thing. Every society you get into, everybody wants to do their own thing. And I think for me, this is the challenge.
Wow.
It's being a transformational leader. It's taking people where they haven't been to where they ought to be. For me, this will be our biggest challenge. It's not money. It's not, and the economic problem we're facing now came out of greed.
Wow.
It's a leadership issue.
It's a moral issue.
Definitely.
You're very correct. You're very correct. Okay. Honorable Akinsiwaju, tell us about the event coming up on the 1st and 2nd of October, Global Leadership Summit. What should we expect?
Well, the Global Leadership Summit is designed to help leaders and aspiring leaders really sharpen their skills and leadership development, in personal leadership, and the capacity to lead in their own different spheres of influence. It's 2 days of high-impact training and development from 3 world-class experts.
World-class experts, yeah.
Absolutely. And we have our speakers, Dr. Miles Monroe. He's a globally recognized leadership trainer, mentor to presidents, prime ministers, you know, Fortune 500 companies around the world. We have Bill Walsh. He's known as America's business expert. You know, he's helped at least 850 businesses grow their businesses all the way from startup right to multi-billion-dollar corporations. You know, so they know something about real leadership. And then we have our third speaker is a wonderful lady called Mindy Gibbons-Klein. Now, Mindy is known as the book midwife.
Wow. Okay,
and in her strength is really the ability to extract your message from you and to present that to the world. Because I believe that every single person has a message in them. You know, the dynamic purpose that you carry, you know, is a message that the world needs to hear. And she's able to help you extract that out of you in words, refine it, retune it, and encapsulate it in a medium of a book that will help bless many, many thousands and even millions around the world. Now, there are some people who say, okay, they can help you write a book, but she doesn't just help you write a book. She helps you present it in a way that helps you reach the people that you really want to reach. Okay, in fact, many of her clients who've worked with her, those who've worked with her, have become bestsellers, you know, on Amazon and other platforms, you know, for book selling around the world. So she knows, you know, what it takes to help you become what you call a real thought leader. And a thought leader is someone who influences others with their thinking and their ideas. And you find out that many people who are able to do that are able to do that through the books. In fact, when you think about it, one of the most powerful weapons that we have as believers is what? A book. Isn't it? Okay. So the Global Leadership Summit really is designed to help us learn from people like these who've been in the game of leadership training, leadership development for as long as 30 years, you know, training thousands, perhaps millions across the world through different media that they've reached, you know, to inspire us, you know, and help us refine our own skills in leadership development. They also help us, through their ideas and their thoughts, help us to discover our own personal purpose. Remember something we said earlier about the fact that, you know, true leadership, authentic leadership, begins from discovering that sense of personal purpose. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe is one of the unique experts around the world who God has given that particular gift to help people discover, understand, you know, who they really are as a person, in essence, their purpose. So you come to the Global Leadership Summit, you'll get to connect with these great leaders. There'll be other great leaders there, you know, people like, you know, Pastor Celia Collins, you know, there are other partners who are coming together. There are about, you know, 8 different organizations who are working together to make this happen. It's not just me.
In other words, this is somebody's opportunity they've been waiting
for.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yes.
I always say to people that when God wants to bless you, He sends you opportunity.
Indeed.
Now, opportunity doesn't announce itself. You have to discern it. Because when it's gone, it's gone. I think this summit is an answer to somebody's problem.
Absolutely.
And that person, if they can just respond, will never be the same. It's not much to ask for the shaping of your future. It takes one defining moment to transform you from where you are to where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
I think this is going to be somebody's defining moment.
This is a way of investing in yourself and becoming a better you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Not just bettering you, but this is an accumulative, 100 years or so of experience, of proven global experience coming to your door.
Indeed.
Just like
what else could
on
you
the
ask?
platter of gold.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, for God's people who are great fans of questions in the head, will I be asking too much if I ask for a discount for them or something?
Definitely, why not? I think for tonight and for being such a beautiful, gracious host, I think your listeners, your devoted listeners deserve it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I asked Honorable just before we sat down, he said 50%? 50%?
50%.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
We did twist his arm a little bit. He started from 20.
Wow. Won't you just grab your phone and call Pastor Celia or Honorable Akinsiwaju, or log on to www.leadershipsummit1.com/. Do they have to give any code?
There's a code they'll need to enter. It's Faith TV.
Just enter the code Faith TV, log on the website, get your ticket, and it's 50% off. I really appreciate you.
Can we give a number for those who don't want to do the website?
Or if you don't want to do the website, I think the contact number should be on the screen for Global Leadership Summit. The number should be on the screen, and that's 0208-469-3738. That's the number.
There's a mobile number as well. So even if they text us, we can return the text.
Okay, that will be
07985 290-192.
That's the mobile number.
Yes.
Okay, I think we'll see how to get that across. But that's the landline you can call and get your ticket 50% off. Indeed. Just say Faith TV, and you get 50% off as your discount. That's a serious one.
That's a very serious one.
Well, the passion that we have is that people actually come and benefit from it.
Wow.
You know, it's not a money-making venture. It's so people can actually come learn from these tremendous experts and have their lives transformed. The amazing thing is it's actually going to be held in a place called Transformation House.
How prophetic is
go to Transformation House to get transformed.
Absolutely. So it doesn't really get better than that, does
it? I mean, ideas are going to be stimulated. People are going to gain confidence in the dreams that they've had. There's going to be clarity. You're going to walk out of there not the same person, pushing, bold, courageous, faith, and you never know who you're going to meet.
Indeed.
Who's going to make your dreams come to pass.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Indeed.
A meeting with 3 world-class experts. And tonight, Honorable Yemi Akinsiwaju and Pastor Celia is saying 50% off discount for people who will call in from Faith TV tonight. Just quote Faith TV and you get 50% discount. I am appealing to especially all ministers of God. If you're a pastor, a leader, holding any leadership role in your church, you're a business owner, wherever you do that, you know you are in a position to lead others. If you know you've got the seed of leadership in you, this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And to better it for you, 50% discount. I'll go on a short break, and when I return, we'll continue with this great woman and man of God. Don't touch the dial.
Brazilian hair and wonderful weaves from Hair Expressions, the UK's leading specialist in hair extensions. We will enhance your image and protect your hair from the environment. Change your hair. It may change your life.
If you are looking for natural hair that does not shed, hair that is light and soft, hair you can run your fingers through and it does not tangle, go for HX Brazilian and Peruvian hair.
I needed hair that would allow me to play my character and be myself offset. Now I can be both and more.
I can go to my meeting with confidence.
I feel simply fabulous.
HX Brazilian and Peruvian hair, the hair that brings out the divalicious in you.
An expression.
We are here only because of you. If Questions in the Heart have been a blessing, we would ask of you to please sow towards our ministry so we can keep doing what we do. Please support us. Our website address is www.questionsintheart.com. Please click on the PayPal link. Telephone 0788 120 7952. As you give towards this work, we can reach more and liberate more. God bless you.
Immigration issues in the UK, then listen to this from Victory Legal Services Luton, led by Mrs. Marian Owonifa, LLB Honours, MA Advice and Legal Work. We are specialists in immigration and nationality law, debt and consumer law, housing law, social security law. Contact us today at number 20 Southampton Gardens, Luton, Bedfordshire, LU3 3UA. Or you can call us on 01582 524 521 and 07862 254 673. Our website is www.victorylegalservices.co.uk. We are a legal firm that is regulated by the OIC. Contact us today and you will be happy.
Bar, restaurant and nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range. Fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
Log on please to www.leadershipsummit/1. That's the details on the screen. Book your ticket now, please. Faith TV is your code. Oh, don't call my mobile. God bless you. Can we have the studio line on the screen? You can call the studio line. Send me text messages on my mobile. Don't call my mobile. I won't be able to answer your call. But please do call the studio line if you've got any question for Pastor Celia and them Honorable Akinsiwaju on the show tonight. Pastor Celia, what is your view? Oh, how do I put this? Okay, how can upcoming leaders best prepare for leadership? What's your view on the preparation an upcoming leader should have in becoming a leader, from your experience?
My experience. Number one, stop the dichotomy. Should I be a leader? Shouldn't I be a leader?
Some people are not even sure.
Accept it. God has called all of us to be a leader. You lead in your area of gifting. As long as God has birthed you on this earth, then you're a leader. You carry this seed potential to be a great leader. Discover what your purpose is. One of the ways in which you discover purpose is to discover what your gift is. If you know your gift, you'll know what you're called to do. If you know what you're called to do, you'll know what your gift is. So settle in your own mind. I embrace the leadership call.
Wow. You said something I would like you to, dwell a little more on. Okay. Everyone is a born leader.
Yes. Everyone, as long as God.
So who are we to lead if we are all leaders?
Yes, so you don't lead. Remember, that's why leadership is not commanding people. It's influencing people through inspiration. Leaders know the way and show people the way. Leaders help others discover their own gifting. If you think of leadership that way, where you're not afraid of leadership, but if you think of leadership as being an authority over people,
then you look for who to lead.
Yes. You're supposed to influence your environment.
Not looking for not looking for people.
But leaders create followership because leaders provide a vision. They are facilitators of a vision that take people to a place, a desired future. Leaders empower others. Indeed. Leaders encourage others. Leaders inspire others. Leaders help others discover their own fulfillment of their giving. Leaders serve the needs of others. When you're doing that, we call you a leader. Leaders don't command others.
So it's not about looking for people to dominate.
No,
it's not about looking for people to instruct and throw around.
The word dominion is the word influence. That's why leadership is servanthood. The greatest leader is one who serves the needs of God and the needs of others. And so when you're an aspiring leader, you embrace the call to serve. You embrace, first of all, the call to serve, yes, number one. So you accept in your own mind and embrace it. I'm a leader. Stop shying away. I'm not a leader. If you do that, you'll never be a great leader. Number two, you discover your area of purpose, which we call, let me simplify it. Purpose is the reason for your existence. So why am I here? Who am I supposed to serve?
Interesting.
Where am I supposed to serve them? How am I supposed to serve them? Simples. You know, as the meerkat. And number three, what do I have to serve? Number 4, who needs what I've got?
Wow.
Where are they? How do I develop what I have? Okay? One of the things, I'm a great believer in mentorship. Mentoring is a relational experience in which one person endows the other with a life the resources they've accumulated in life to empower them for their own development and for their success. Those resources could be wisdom, status, you know, opportunity, and all of those things. And look for a mentor. People who are meant to do well, you know. Ask yourself, what area do I want to go into? What area do I want to serve in? And learn. Leaders are learners.
Wow.
Refine your skills.
Wow.
You know, get some coaching done. But whatever you do, do something about your sense of core. I think, and if I'm to captivate all of this in 3 different points. Number 1, an aspiring leader has to accept their sense of purpose.
Okay.
I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. Number 2, I have something that doesn't belong to me. Every gift, every opportunity, every talent, every anointing that I have comes from God, but it belongs, it's supposed to service somebody else's needs. And so I'm a thief and a robber if I don't use it. But those things are always given to you in seed form. Everything God gives us is in seed form. Wow. Every single thing. So you're responsible for growing it. And number 3, lastly, take responsibility for your world to effect change. I think if you encapsulate all of these 3 paradigms, you're going to be a great leader.
Interesting. Someone said, how much is the cost, please?
Okay. Well, essentially, when you go to www.leadershipsummit1.com/tickets, you'll see the prices there. We have 3 tiers of tickets. There's a £47, £97, and £167.
Okay.
But of course, with their Faith TV code, that goes down to about £23.50, about £45, and about £80 odd. For the different tiers of tickets. And each one of those tickets comes with tremendous benefits, you know, that's available at each tier. And when they go in there, you'll see, I mean, the way I like to think about it, for instance, in my work, in the, what you might call the secular world, I've gone for training programs where an evening session with a leadership in quote, you know, trainer will set me back easily £250. Okay, and those people I went to learn from, because obviously at that point in time it was my employer who was paying for it. You know, the caliber of the people who were training us at that event was nowhere near someone like Dr. Miles Monroe.
Wow.
Okay, so if you think about it, really the value that you'll be getting from this is just phenomenal. Okay. Okay, so for your Faith TV guests, it will be about £23.50, about £45, and about £85 odd.
Okay.
Depending on what kind of
package they go for.
Okay. Yes. Someone said, would there be seminar materials?
Now, when they say seminar materials, as in handouts and brochures and stuff like that, no, there won't be in the conventional sense. I mean, there will be some handouts, but there won't be like a manual, you know, for people to take with them. Because obviously the scope of what will be covered by the different speakers is slightly different. So what I encourage people to do is bring loads of writing material. Okay. Because we all hear things differently, and you hear what is relevant for where you are at the moment. Okay. So I'd say bring lots of pens and lots of you know, notepads to take notes. Because something definitely will resonate with you.
Some things are also PowerPointed, so people...
There'll be some things on PowerPoint screen, so they'll be able to take a lot of notes.
So they should just bring their writing materials.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's wrong with the studio line. People are trying to get through, and are calling my mobile seriously. But unfortunately, we can't take calls on the mobile phone. Pastor Celia, what are the key principles of successful leadership before we go tonight?
The key principles of successful leadership, I think it's, first of all, understanding yourself as a leader. I think, again, embracing that call to lead. there are too many reluctant leaders. You're going to be going forward and coming back, going forward. People want to emulate you. They need confident, solid leaders who believe in what you're doing. I think that leaders also accept the responsibility that they have to model leadership for people. I think that people, key principles, recognize that you're not called to yourself, and the vision you cannot fulfill by yourself. It's developing your personal skills. I find that a lot of people don't have good people skills for people. Build a team. Communicate the vision clearly so that the team understand. Celebrate successes together. You know, a lot of people, it's just about them. I always say that sometimes you see even with our Christian leaders, at Christmas time, it's just them. Everything is just your face on the spoon, on the fork, on the Christmas card, on the calendar. No, celebrate other people. You didn't achieve everything by yourself. You achieve it with others.
The help of some people.
Yes, and you encourage people's hearts by doing that. When you do that, people feel a comradeship. They also feel they own the vision together, and their commitment levels rise. I think that when every leader embraces that, number one, a great sense of vision, build a successful team to do it with, challenge the process. I liked what the leadership challenge is. Challenge the process, keep evaluating. Is this working? Isn't it working? Anything that's not working, you change, you know, and then you encourage hearts. But above all, have a servant's heart. Humility and servanthood. Remember that success comes from God, and it's a privilege to serve humanity. I think if you do it with love, I'm just going to add this bit. I just remembered a lot of times we're looking for success at any cost. But recently I have been challenged myself as I read 1 Corinthians 13, when God says that, you know, if you do things without love, you're like a clanging cymbal. I think a lot of the work we have done is without love. Samson wanted to win so badly over the Philistines. He caught 300 foxes, tied their tails together, set fire to it, and released them into the Philistine camp. Yes, he destroyed all of the Philistine crops. So in that sense, he was successful in his mission. But ask me what happened to the foxes. They all died. You do not lead by killing people. You're sensitive to people. You can't love God and not love people. And so I think that's the key. Servant-heartedness and servant leadership has a key of love and sensitivity to both God and to people. And at the end of the day, you want to say, we did it together.
Definitely.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm loaded tonight. I'm blessed, educated by what Pastor Celia and Honorable Akinsiwaju are sharing with us tonight. I guess our line is jammed. That's what we get when people are trying to reach. They're calling my mobile and not being able to get through on the landline. Before we go, we've got to go tonight. In 1 minute, Honorable Akinsiwaju, how do you ensure you continue to grow and develop as a leader?
Okay. Well, essentially come to an event like the Global Leadership Summit.
That's part of it.
That is part of it. Like Pastor Celia said, connect with a mentor, the right kind of mentor. Be open to change, always. I think one of the challenges we have with a lot of leaders, in quote, is they forget the foundational principle of innovation, which has been open.
God bless you, sir. 1 minute. Good evening. Thanks for calling. Hello, thanks for calling.
The program, I'm really enjoying it. I just wanted to find out if, like everything that they are saying, if I want to register or attend to their seminar or something, how do I do it?
Yeah, the information is on the screen. All you need to do is log on to www.leadershipsummit1.
Leadership Summit.
Yeah, that's the detail on the screen. Just copy that website details and the landline there as well. You can call the landline there to register, or log on to the website to register, or give myself a call and I'll lead you to what to do. Thanks for calling. We appreciate you. So before the call came in, you were saying something about how to ensure you continue to grow.
Absolutely.
As a leader. We've got to go.
Okay. Well, essentially, commit to change and development. I think it's first of all having that disposition of continuous and never-ending improvement. Once you're committed to that, the rest pretty much will take care of itself. Because like Pastor Celia said earlier, we're all in a state of change.
That's true.
Okay? But change is one thing, growth is different.
Wow.
We're all going through change, but growth is intentional, is deliberate, is focused, and is directional.
God bless
so if you're
you.
going to be a leader, to grow, you must commit to change.
God bless you, sir. We've got to go tonight. Our time is gone. For those of you who are trying to get across, please log on to www.summit1. That's the website. That's the mobile number to call. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. And when you call or when you log on to register, quote Faith TV so that you can get your 50% off. It's a honor having you, Ma, and Sir, on Questions in the Heart. And I believe Global Leadership Summit will be a glorious one. Till I see you, same time, same station, next week. Invest in self-leadership. God bless you.